The man pressed his face against the bullet-proof glass. As the force gradually increased, his expression became more and more grotesque. The next second, the bullet-proof glass, which could withstand a missile explosion, was shattered by his face. The next second, he extended his fist, wanting to compete with the caveman. The moment they first made contact, he was stunned by the other's strength. The caveman's power was like that of a T-Rex. The man immediately used his skills to knock the caveman to the ground, but the moment he let his guard down, the caveman got back up. At this moment, the soldiers arrived at the scene and asked the man to spare the caveman because it was a precious research subject. So, the man accepted the soldiers' request, but the man who practiced martial arts did not let this opportunity slip away. However, before the martial artist could prepare, the caveman launched an attack with his terrifying strength. The martial artist was blown away, but he thought the caveman had only brute force and no skills. Believing that his entire body was vulnerable, he seized the opportunity and kicked the caveman in the face. Since the face is the most fragile part of the human body, he thought this attack would be too much for the caveman to bear. In the following attacks, the martial artist always aimed at the caveman's face, thinking that this would disable him, but the caveman's body structure was completely different. His skull was 10 centimeters thick, and these attacks couldn't hurt him at all. The reason he was crying was just because he was moved by finding food. So, the caveman bit the martial artist directly in the face of absolute strength. All his skills were useless. At this moment, the martial artist remembered his master's teachings and decided not to use martial arts anymore, but to punch randomly like a child. But facing the caveman's attack, he unconsciously defended himself with martial arts again. At this moment, he realized for the first time that it was not shameful to lose using martial arts, but it was shameful not to use it for fear of losing. So, he used all the skills he had learned, but he still couldn't defeat the caveman. The next second, he was not flying and lost consciousness completely. In the end, he still lost to the caveman. At this moment, the caveman also shed tears of excitement because he was extremely hungry. Watching him step by step towards the martial artist, the old man finally couldn't bear it. He couldn't accept that the martial artist would be eaten. He shouted loudly, asking if the caveman really intended to eat his friend, but unexpectedly, he was slapped away. For him, eating the opponent was the greatest recognition. This cruel and violent dinner was filled with pain in his heart. The next second, a very strong dose of anesthetic was injected into his body. When the martial artist woke up again, he had already lost his right leg, but he didn't feel relieved for surviving the disaster. All he felt was regret for not keeping his promise.